Hello, I was just wanting to talk to some people about their Ford Freestyle, Ford 500, Mercury Montego, possibly the Taurus and Sable '08, '09, whatever. Anyway, I was just checking something out. I've never done this before, but anyway, those cars are good cars with the 3.0, and they either have a CVT transmission or a six-speed automatic. Uh, I've had one for over 10 years, and basically the CVTs, you need to change the transmission fluid in those things at least every 100,000. If it got done at least in the first 100,000 miles, and they change the high pressure filter, everything should be good to go. And then if you change it again at about 80,000 to 100,000 again, the fluid should still be clean. Be sure and clean out the filter. I actually washed mine out with gasoline and then washed it up, and then uh, used a blow dryer to make sure that it was dry whenever I put it back in, and loop the O-rings back up. You have to pull the motor mount, the front motor mount, which is right behind the driver's side wheel. You take it off and you remove that front motor mount right there. And then to your right, you'll see two lines that go in. You remove those two lines, and then um, take the three screws out that hold that housing on, and there's a filter in there. You may have to have some pliers or a screwdriver or something to kind of pry it out, but that's because it's got an O-ring seal on it. Anyway, you get that out of there, drain the fluid out. The problem is the Torx head screws that are on those fasteners for that cover and for the drain pan, okay, that can be quite challenging to get out, especially if somebody's already kind of rounded them out or whatever. Well, the next thing you know is these um, Torx head screws, you can't get them broke loose, but you if you use a pair of channel locks, or not channel locks, I'm sorry, it is actually a pair of vice grips, and it says vice grip on it. If it doesn't say vice grip, it's not any good. Okay, I don't know whether you see that or not. Anyway, you get that on there, and then you get it on there, and then you can take a crescent or something and turn it. Now you're going to have to really bear down to get that thing tight enough on there so it doesn't slip, and you'll get it loose, and then you just wiggle the thing till it comes out. And then you get the filter out, and you put the filter in, and then you put that back on. You could have the same problem with the drain plug, and you can do the same thing with it if you're man enough. But it tell you it's a tough job. Anyway, once you get that and the fluid change, you're good for a long time, as long as you don't shift the thing or power break it. It should last 300,000 miles. I change my oil every 3 to 4,000 miles, and the inside of that engine is just as clean as it was when I got it. I bought it used. I've had problems with the all-wheel drive transmission. I've had trouble with the six-speed transmission in some of them that I've drove. If you have any kind of shifting issues with the six-speed transmission, more than likely your transmission fluid is extremely dirty. And what happens is the valve body starts hanging up, and it'll shift out of gear and then throw it in. And trust me, I bought a car one time and all the motor mounts were out of it. The whole engine just sat there and rocked and rolled until, oh, they broke the mounts out. And basically, I put a different valve body that came out of one that was a clean unit, and it fixed that. And of course, I had to put the motor mounts back in it, etc. I had another one that I blew a fuse on, and that was a tow bill. Basically, it was trying to remember what fuse it was now, but anyway, whatever it was, I had to call a tow truck because I couldn't find the fuse that it was. And the tow truck driver, he wanted to just slide it on its tires because couldn't get it out of gear or out of park. But you can if you take the uh, air cleaner off underneath there. You can manually, you have to pop the cable off. It's just a plastic uh, gripper. You just pop it off, and then once you get it popped off, you can shift it into neutral by hand. Otherwise, you'll flat spot the tires letting him slide it up on there. It's just not a good thing to do, in my opinion. Uh, and I wish I could remember what the fuse was, but I can't right now. So we'll just have to see what happens. This was a test, and I'll talk about it some more in a little bit.